Good evening, children, or good afternoon. I hope you have had a good breakfast or lunch or dinner because I noticed that you are all around the world. And thank you very much, Pastor Dan, for giving me the opportunity to be here. My name is Venice Rowe, and I'm from Bedford Central Church. And if you know where Luton Airport is, that's just 30 minutes drive from Luton Airport.
And for everybody who doesn't know where the Luton Airport is, it is just a little bit north above London. So not far away, maybe about 40 minutes without traffic, which we never have. So that's where the Bedford is. Venice, so you can now start sharing your screen, and we're going to go straight to the award as we have some anxious adventurers. Just as you're sharing your screen, I want to add, we want to welcome people from Ghana, which join us as well. And quite a few different places which I did not manage to mention. So once again, very well welcome. And Venice, time is yours now.
Okay, children, I can't see all your faces, but I can see a few. And I would like us all to say our pledge. So let's straighten up. And we are going to say our pledge. Your hands, right hand over the left. And we are going to say, after 2, 1, 2. Because Jesus loves me, I can always do my best. Well done. Let's go to the next. And we're going to say our law, because it's very important that we remind ourselves what our adventurer law is. So after 2, let's do it. 1, 2. The adventurer law is for me to be obedient, be pure, be true, be kind, be respectful, be attentive, be helpful, be cheerful, be thoughtful, be reverent. Well done. So, this is me. I got graduated last year, and I am a wise steward. I decided to use my time wisely and go through all the paperwork and think about you and how I'll be a role model for you. So I am a wise steward. But let us learn a little bit more about what a wise steward is. Because before we are a steward, we are a person. I am a person, you are a person. So let's look at this. We're going to describe a wise steward. We're going to find a text in the Bible that tells who owns everything on the world, on the earth. We're going to explain Malachi 3, verse 8 to 10, and be able to fill out our own tithe envelope. I hope you have had an opportunity to fill out a tithe envelope because it's very important. The next, we will make a poster, and I hope you had brought some crayons and some paper to make a poster of the things we use our Sabbath school offerings for. We're going to listen to a Bible story of a widow and a small offering. And I've got a twist for you and tell how and why a wise steward like you and I can care for our belongings. Well done. So here we go. I would like you to help me. I would like you to help me choose option 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Who do you think a wise steward is? So put it within the chat box and you tell me, let's share together, who do you think a wise steward is? Is it number 1, a hard worker? Number 2, trustworthy? Number 3, lazy? Or number 4, a robber? Or number 5, a good planner? Go in your chat box and let me see what you think. Who is a wise steward?
So we have already some results coming in, and everybody's putting number 1 and number 5 and number 2.
Ooh. Well,
is that correct?
No one put a number 3 or number 4?
Nobody that I can see at the moment put number 3 and number 4. So it is definitely 1, 2, 5. Oh,
X.
we just had somebody made a mistake for putting.
Ha, he's just made a twist. Thank you so much, adventurers. Lovely. So we have thought in our head, these are some of the characteristics that we know a wise steward, or we think a wise steward is. Let's look. Who is a wise steward? This guy dressed in black. I think he's dodgy, but I can't tell you, see, because everyone dressed up with a tie and a shirt and a suit. But the guy up there who's been given some money, I wonder what he is going to do with it. Let's see. Who is a wise steward? A wise steward is a person who manages money or property belonging to someone else. So mom gives you some money, and they said, keep this for me. And you thought, wow, I have become a very important person. She has entrusted me to manage some money, which is her property, and it's important to take care of it. So we are looking at a wise person. There is an elephant who is helping its baby going over the hill. So a wise person is someone who treats others as they want to be treated. If you were going over the hill on a hike, would you like someone to help you up? Would you like someone to lend you a hand? This is a wise person because he treats others as they would like to be treated because they know it will help them, not hurt them. Look at this. Tell me what you see. Have you ever seen so many stars in the sky before? Have you ever seen ice on the mountain top? Just like that. We all is aware of our surroundings. Sometimes we go on hike, I believe. Some of our pastors and master guides have been on a hike and they go all the way to the top of this mountain. We can call it Snowdonia. Well, quite curiously, some people do not know who made it. But let's carry on looking at the things that we can see. Oh, could you choose the odd one out? Write in the option box and tell me, do you think this was made by an intelligent person or not? Which is the odd one out?
So let's have a look.
Option.
Question is which one is the odd one out? And I think that we're gonna be able to get this. So so the question is, did God really make all of this? All right. So people are saying the sock is the odd one out.
Ooh, that's interesting. I suppose it's because our feet is in that sock. Well, she seemed to be holding her nose a little bit, so there's a bit of bacteria in there. That's what I'm assuming. But what about option 4 or 2?
Some people are saying too. Yeah, you're right. Some people are actually saying that option 2 is a little bit odd there.
Really, really odd. Yeah, we know that an, a robot is not really God's invention. It's not really God's creation. But let's carry on. Oh, look at this. How about, can you guess? Option 3. What is that?
What is option 3? It's a very good question. What do you think is that? That looks like a nose to me, for sure. That nose belongs to who? Somebody says it's a dog's nose.
Are you sure?
Are you sure? Well, more people are saying that they think it's a dog's nose. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, somebody just said wolf.
It could do, couldn't it? It could be a dog. It could be a wolf. It doesn't look like my nose. That's not my nose. That's not our nose. But of all of these things, someone intelligent have made them apart from the odd one out. Let's look again. What about wealth and riches? Did God make all these? Did he own and does he own all of these? Does God made wealth and money?
It's a very good question to all of us, and the answers are coming in. I can say majority people are saying yes. Some people are saying no. So we might need some help to get the answer. What is the right answer on this one?
Well, thing is, we need some help from the parents. Parents, can you help our children find the scripture in the Bible that tells us who made all of these things? Could you help us and then put it in the chat who you think made all of these things apart from the odd one out?
All right. So you want us to find the scripture? Which scripture?
Well, you see, that's the reason we have our parents to help our children.
All right. Because of the time, we might not be able to wait for a long time for them to search. So do you have any suggestions?
I have a suggestion, children. Look at this. Guess what? Psalms 24, verse 1. God made all the things that we can see in the heaven, on the earth, beneath the earth, even the fly. So when you see a fly flying around in the house, don't smack it. Appreciate that it's one of God's creatures. Okay, so we're going to move on, but take a note of that. Psalms 24, verse 1. But if you have any other verses, put it in the chat so we can share together. Right. Now, talking about money. Can you think, what would you do if you were given 100 pounds? How would you spend your 100 pounds?
And that's a very good question. So let's put this question on for everybody in the rooms and the Facebook Live. How would you spend the £100? So I think that it is going to be really hard to do that. First answer that came in was charity.
Charity.
Somebody says, I will give it to the poor.
Oh.
Somebody said he would spend it on a microscope. Somebody would like to buy their Bible.
Okay.
There are people who are saying, I would love to buy some toys.
Okay.
Some people will say, first of all, I would take my tithe and then I would use the rest. I need to say that a lot of, somebody gave a very grown up answer, and that is, I would bank it.
See.
Somebody would like to put it into Xbox. Somebody says, I would like to save it. So a lot of different.
Okay, there's lots of ideas there, and we are going to check to see whether or not it's wise to spend all of it, or give all of it, or invest all of it. Okay, so thank you so much for those. I just put those little pictures of this little girl who want to buy a lollipop, a shoe, and a doll, and this little boy who would like to have a house and get money out of it. That's what we adults do. But look at what I will do with my 100 pounds. Look at this. I'd buy a car. Then I will put it towards getting a house. But I'm already married. but I could invest in my education and take a plane trip to some exotic place like Jamaica. Or, and I can save it towards my retirement. Do I look old enough to be retired, children?
No, I don't think so. And it has
No.
to be understanding there is not going to be retirement. So maybe it is very important to put some money there as well. Yeah.
Okay, so did you hear what? Do you hear what? Do you know what I heard? Many people say money grow wings and fly away. And I'm asking myself, is that really true? Because how can money grow wings and fly away? Do you know? Is it true? Is it false? Share with me.
Yeah, that's a good question. I heard the same statement saying the money can fly away. Can the money fly away? People are saying that's a false statement. They're saying no, no, money cannot fly. But somebody says money can't fly, but it can be spent. So, uh, uh, yes. So
Yes.
somebody used a really long word metaphorically. Yes, it
Ooh.
can fly. That's
Oh,
right.
metaphorically, it can fly. See, us adults have so much spending to do. Spend for education, spend for the car, for the petrol, for food. And we get our wages and our salary, and we do not know where it goes at the end of the week. So here we put it in our purse or in the bank, and with the amount of spend and expenses, it all disappears even before we receive it. So very important that we do something important to keep at least one of them. Look at what we need to do. We need to save. We need to spend a certain amount. We need to give in donation to charity a certain amount. And we need to invest. So look at what I've got here. I went down to the shop. Can you see that? That's my little saving pan, and I've got some dough in there. But even though I've got the dough, I'll use the dough there, and I'll make Play-Doh activity. And when it's all done, I'll use this pan as my saving. So you see, you can use anything in order to do that. Now look at this. So that's for my saving. Can you hear that? There's money in there. I use that for my spending. That's really good. Look at this. I've got another one. My daughter made this money pan for me. Look, there, put the money in there. And I use that for my investment. So it's important if you have all these different containers, you can split your money out so that a portion of it goes to saving, some go to spending, some goes to mission or charity or donate or tithe and offering, or some can go into investment. It's very important you split it out 4 ways. That's how our money should be spent. So the next thing is, here we have, what can you do with the money that you invest? All that money that will accumulate one day, 10% of £1, you know, is 10p. Yeah. You always spend some 65p in a pound. That's like 65p. And then you actually have some for mission. It's about 15%, 15p. You put that away to mission or give to charity. And then you have some for investment. Now, I give you some suggestion here of what you can do to earn more money and turn over that 10 pence in a pound. You could actually pick some apples if you've got an apple tree. Now it is planting season, you can have some tomatoes. Everybody likes tomatoes. Well, not everybody, but quite a lot of people likes tomatoes. If you are a baker, You can learn how to bake fairy cakes and sell some. And you could also invest in sweets. But that's not the only thing. I was thinking of, if you are like me, I would do some household chores. And my household chores, mom and dad would give us some pocket money. And that's where you take that money and split it 4 ways. And that investment part, you put it here. Okay? All of these things is to help you develop and become financially independent as a good steward. Remember, a wise steward is a person who manages money or property belonging to someone else. Let's look at the next slide. Here we are. Here, this is my Wise Steward Award envelope. I have had £1. I may have had £100. And I took 10% for my offering and 5% for my tithe. Have you got an envelope that you have filled up? Have you got an envelope with you that I can see? Did you bring one with you? If you didn't bring one with you, try and get one when you got to church. And try and take your £1 or your saving that you've accumulated up so you can put it in your envelope for mission when you go to church. This is very funny, isn't it? This is a memory verse that I thought would actually work your brain a little bit. Now, I'm not quite sure. I'm going to ask Pamela. Pamela Moyo, could you unmute and read this for me, please?
That was a little bit of a surprise.
Really? Pastor, will you do me the favor of reading this for our adventurers, please?
I'm just trying to
Oh,
find.
Pamela is on. Pamela is on.
Excellent.
Pamela, come along. Read this for me, please.
Oh, I can't really see.
That's okay. Let's ask Pastor to read it for us.
You read it for us, my friend. Just read.
Oh,
That is.
right, here we are. Will a man rob God? Will a man rob God? Yet ye have robbed me. But you say, wherein have you robbed me? In tithe and offering. You are cursed with a curse. You have robbed me, even this whole nation. Bring you all the tithe into the storehouse, that there may be meat in mine house, and prove me now herewith, saith the Lord of hosts, if I will not open you the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing, that there shall not be room enough to receive it. Did you get that one? Absolutely. This is just a way of using symbols to describe words. Here we are. Did you know that money can actually change the way that we behave? Money can actually become negative in the way that we receive it. We see here this man who is counting his pennies in his house. That's not a problem, counting your pennies, but money can actually change the way we behave. Look at Donald Duck. It's all his. It's Donald, can I have £100? He said, no, it's mine. See, money can actually change us so that we become selfish and mean and uncomfortable and miserable, and we have few friends because we do not share. Those are some of the negatives that actually happens when we allow money to be our focus. So, adventurous, money can be a positive thing. Look at the way our adventures are sharing. The smile, the joy, sharing is a blessing. We are joyful, happy, and having a generous heart. Children, God is quite specific. He said, don't rob him. Now, can you remember a verse in the Bible, Exodus commandment, Exodus 20 in the commandments, where God says, thou shalt not steal. Sometimes people, we take from God and don't remember that he owns everything. It's not ours for us to have and hold and keep to ourselves. Don't rob God. If we rob God, we will be told off. You have robbed me. Where have I robbed you? Oh, you have robbed me in tithe and offering. But he said, look, correct your ways, change your behavior, and bring all the tithe into the storehouse. Bring all the offerings into the storehouse, and you will be blessed. So here we have, each time we give from our heart, and we should do it cheerfully, and we should not feel that we are forced to bring something into the storehouse. We should give generously. Okay? So that's how God responds to our giving. He wants us to have a generous heart when we share. Look at this. This is called the Inter-European Division. And this quarter, our Children's Missionary Quarterly is collecting all the tithe, Sabbath school offering, and sharing it with different projects in places like United Kingdom and France, in Italy and Germany, and Spain and Romania. And each quarter, our money that we collect, that you bring into, goes to somewhere around the world. But this quarter is Inter-European Division. Look at what they're asking. They're asking for some Bibles so children can learn. They're asking for a location so they can actually worship at. They're asking for medical aid so they can actually help someone who is ill. And they're also asking for seeds so they can plant and the food can grow. This is where we come in with all the fun. And I'm not quite sure, children, if we will have the time in which to allow you to draw a picture and a poster, but this is one I've done for you before. Our money that we collect, go to Sabbath school, we collect a Sabbath school, goes to a place in Asia, somewhere around China, and it helps build schools for church. That's just one of my students' work. Yeah, but many people, they appreciate what we give in tithe and offering. So you go off and you make sure that you do a poster showing the kind of things that our Sabbath school offerings is used for. Is that okay? Thumbs up? Excellent. Well done. And Pastor Diane will actually say, can you send a copy to me?
That
He
is
wants
right.
to see it because
Because
he wants to portray it and show it off to say, look at my adventures. They're working so hard.
that's right. This is exactly what I want to ask everybody. Uh, every Wednesday, we always publish the crafts and the work that you send us because we just want to show what amazing adventures we have. So in the chat room, I'm going to just post now and we will have it on the Facebook as well, my email. So make sure you send it before Wednesday so that we can publish it with everybody else.
Okay, so brilliant children. I am so excited because I will be looking on that site to see whether or not how it's going with all those pictures. Now, let's move on. Oh, here is a story of someone who didn't have a lot. She left her house that morning. It could be this morning. It could be last week's Sabbath morning. If she went off to church. And did you know what? She did not know that her choice and her actions that day would be told to millions of children and adults right around the world because someone noticed her heart. can you see some person sitting in the background over there on the bench? Do you know who it might be?
Maybe we should ask people to tell us on the chat.
Yeah, that would be really good.
So what do you think?
Someone noticed her heart that she is different from all of those who came in and bring their offering. But on that morning, she did not know that her action would make a difference. So, Pastor Dan, what are the children saying?
Children are saying it is Jesus.
And his,
Well, people just said Jesus.
oh, it wasn't just Jesus. Was it just Jesus?
You tell us. What are you?
Jesus' friends, his disciples.
And that's right. And now, when we ask the question, we started getting the answers. He's right. It is his disciples with him as well.
You guys are late in giving that. I gave that answer. You need to be quicker than me, okay? Remember to be quicker than me. Right. Now, next one. This is the question. How does someone become a widow? And what is a mite? I give you half a second to answer before I give you the answer. Who or how does someone become a widow?
The answer started coming in. It says when a husband dies or maybe wife dies. So that's the way. Well, for the widow to, that's the, yeah.
That is so true. And when a wife dies or a husband dies, they struggle. We used to have two incomes. Now you have one. Because you see, the thing is, children, one hand can't clap. Let me see you clapping with one hand. It doesn't work. So in order to make a difference, you have to have two hands that clap. Do you see that? There is a sound. And so when two people are working together, it makes a difference. But there she lost her husband and she was all on her own. And now she is a widow. The things have become rather difficult for her. And now she have just a mite. From a big portion of resources, she was only able to bring out a mite. But what is a mite?
Well, what is that?
That's the question.
Well, we are asking, and then let's just see. No answers yet.
No answers.
Well, he comes. If a mite is a little money, it is a small amount of money. A coin, somebody said.
I will take the second option. It's a small amount of money. It's a small amount. Because it could be a 1p and it could be a 2p, but the mite is just a small amount of money out of her resources. Let's go on with the story. So off she went to church, this widow whose husband had died, and she was only able to give a few coins as offering, a few coins, a mite out of what she had. See, a mite is a small portion given out of what a person have to live on. She have to live, and you know what? Out of a heart full of love, she did it out of a heart full of love because she was thankful to God. Now, sometimes children, we say, oh, because we have 50 pounds and because we have 20 pounds, God understands. We can't give offering because God understands. The rent is 90 pounds and I have 50. God understands. But look, listen to what she did. She embraced the fact that whatever happens, God owns everything. And it doesn't matter if it's a small amount or a big amount, God will bless. See, this is where God calls it a generous giving. And Pastor would preach and he would say an offering of sacrifice because it was a sacrifice. She didn't have to give it, but she wanted to be a cheerful giver and she wanted to be honest. When God says, come, bring the tithe and offering into the storehouse, and I will pour you out such a blessing, she took that literally. So it doesn't matter where we are, it's so important that we remember to be a cheerful giver and be faithful. So, oh, look at these guys. These people who have got their business and their generous giving, all those who could afford it give big offering. No one could miss it because it sounded like cling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. Did you hear that? It goes cling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. And they were proud. Can you see the smile on their face? They're like, ooh, we're giving a big offering today. It was so amazing. They were so proud of their big offering. And do you notice that when we go to church, sometimes people like, put it in. It's a big offering today. But while everybody was big in there giving their offering, and the elders with their lots of monies that go cling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling, and the woman with her offering that goes clinga, that's all it says, clinga. Someone was watching her and watching them. And we have already identified that it was Jesus and his friends. Children, sometimes we don't know who is watching us, but whatever happens, your story, your choice, your actions could make such a huge amount of difference to someone 100 years from now. Whether or not you take what is belonging to you or what God has blessed you with, you just need to remember that you've got to remain faithful. When God says one thing, don't sneak around the corner like a robber. Don't sneak around the corner like someone who doesn't care. You must remain faithful to what God says. Now, let's look at this. We have gone through, and we're just going to do a recap. We have identified that a person, a wise person, is one who treats others as they would like to be treated because they know it would help them, not harm them. And that is very important, adventurers. When you see your friend who is in desperate need, help them. Treat them as the way you would like someone to treat you, and help them. A wise steward, we have learned, is a person who manages the money of and the belonging and the property of someone else. Do you see how I've actually sort of asterisk the belonging? Because we're going to be talking about that next. And we have also discovered that God owns everything, everything in heaven, everything in earth, even the worms. You know those wiggly worms? I was in the garden the other day and I saw this big, fat, juicy worm. I thought, oh, that's God's creatures. He owns it. I should take care of that worm because that worm is doing a job. Do you know what his job is? His job is to make soil. But sometimes we don't understand why God made the creatures that they do, but every single thing on this earth is there for a purpose. And that's the reason why Pastor Dan asked, what else would you like to learn? What else would you like to know? So in order to understand and appreciate each creature's purpose and why God made them, we need to understand from learning and reading and listening that God made them here on this earth for a purpose. Okay? So, there's a big question. You and I, adventurers, who do we belong to? Some people think, well, I am my own boss. I won't have anyone tell me what I need to do. Some people think they're from a monkey. I thought, Well, I'm not climbing up any tree to grab a banana. I do not climb a tree. Who do you belong to? Do you think you just belong to your mom and your dad? Let's hear what you've got to say.
And many answers started already coming in as you were talking, and a big number of them said, "I belong to God," and uh, and and uh, and somebody said, "I'm really happy with this story, as I can learn that I belong to God." So our comments are for sure going towards the Creator of the universe, and that is God.
Absolutely, children. And you won't know the creator of the universe if you don't spend time with him. That's the reason why it's so important to open your Bible and read and understand that everything in there is actually leading you back into a relationship with God who made you. Even though you've been born of mom and dad was born of someone, and go back to grandma and granddad and great grandma and great granddad. We go all the way back to Jesus's time, and all the way back to Daniel's time, and all the way back to Noah's and Abraham and Methuselah and Adam and Eve. We all go right back to God. So we know that God made us. As a result, we are the property of God. Then I must ask you, what has God given to you and I that we must take care of? Let me have your ideas before I share mine. What
So
has God
once
given to
again,
us that we must take care of?
so if you rephrase the question again for all of us, just to make sure we give the right answer, we don't want to give a wrong one.
No, we don't want to get the wrong one. No. So the question is, what has God given to us that we must take care of?
Okay, and the answers, I'm sure, will be coming soon. Well, somebody says plants, somebody says house, everything, family, Bible, life, and then millions of answers are coming in. Earth and all that is in it. Somebody said we need to.
Hold on. Thank you very much, Pastor. You're such a great co-teacher. But look, we have already looked at earth. We have already looked at light, plants. We've already looked at all the major stuff. But I want to actually bring it down to me,
Okay.
me and you. What has God made within us that God has given to me and you that we need to take care of? Because you see, the thing is, mom and dad can take care of us, but we have also been given a duty and a responsibility to take care of.
Somebody said our bodies. Well, not somebody, a lot of them. And also, somebody added our bodies, families, friends. So, all of that.
Okay, so I'm going to share with you what my points are. Then I'm going to have to give you an extra work to do. Let's look at it. Look, as a steward, I have to say I am a steward because God has given me money and the property and me, and we all belong to Him. Things that we need to take care of. My mind. How can I care for it? I need to read God's words. I need to watch what I read. I need to be careful what goes in my head. I need to be careful what goes on in my thinking. So his words help me to choose to do the right thing and leave the wrong thing. My heart. I need to protect my heart. Sometimes some people do some things to me, and in the past it was so hard for me to forgive. Thought, oh man, you stepped on my toe. That really hurt. But I have to forgive them, because if I didn't forgive them, then I start having this heart pain, and it's oh so painful. I'm gonna stay away from them. So I've got to protect my heart. I also have to protect my life. I have to give my life to Jesus, you see. Jesus is my best friend. We've learned that at camp last year or the year before. Jesus is our best friend. And when I'm feeling sad and when I'm just not feeling too hot, I say, Jesus, Can I just talk to you for a moment? I'm not feeling too hot. He is my best friend, given in my life. It means that I have to do things his way, not out of pressure. Well, when I look around the world today, there's some crazy stuff happening. I thought, Lord, you're going to have to take my life. Otherwise, I'll be like them too. So I have to check that. I have to check my eyes. Guess what, guys? Oh, sometimes you have to close your eyes from the amount of madness that is going on around. Do you do that? Do you actually sort of say, oh, you can't see that? I'm not looking at that. You got to check your eyes, what you're looking at, because there's so much evil around. And God says, even Job says, look, I turn my eyes away from looking at evil. I don't do it. Because the more you look at something that is evil, the more you start thinking, that's not bad. It's okay. And then you know what? Before you know it, you are right deep down in there with those guys doing evil stuff. So I've got to actually check my eyes. So here we are. This is your time. This is your time. What do you do with your time, children? How do you spend your time? Now that you are being furloughed or at home or homeschooling, what do you do with your time? Do you spend your time wisely? We must spend our time wisely and understand that God requires it of us. I get 24 hours. Does that pastor get 24 hours? What do you do with your time? How do you spend your time? Do you spend your time with friends? Do you spend your time with family? Do you spend your time with talking on the phone about anything and anything that jumps out your head? How do you do that? Let's talk. Let's talk for a little minute. Can't hear you.
Many people are mentioning and saying, well, I spend time with my friends and family, at the moment with family mainly. People are saying, well, I spend time learning. Others, I spend time with the Bible. Also, quite a few other things like watching TV, playing with the different games. And so the answers are very different.
Answers are very different. Now, remember, children, I've put here also that your belongings is your talent. I know some of you do play the flute, and I know some of you do play the piano. These are talents. Look, some of us older guys, older ones, adults, would love to play the piano, but we're so busy. Oh, I would love to play the piano. And you know what we do? We go out and we say, Sister Smith, can you help me teach me play the piano, please? And Sister Smith said, okay, on Monday you can come at 7 o'clock. And 7 o'clock goes and we become busy. Children, this is your time to remember your talents, the way you think, the way you practice your skill, the way you learn is very important. It's all about making that concentrated effort, taking time to focus on learning something important is very good, so that as you grow, you can become a master of it. Look at David. He didn't actually just pick up the harp and start playing a song. He had to learn the skill of playing a song. How about a story? Do you write journals? How do you write your journal? Have you ever written a journal? Do you write journals? Let me hear whether or not you write journals.
We will ask the question, but also we need to think about our time. At the moment, we still have about 5 minutes more. So let's just see, guys, are you writing journals? Yes, many people are writing journals. Yeah, very surprising. I used to, somebody said, oh, maybe it's time for you to start again. And there are some though who don't write journals.
It's always good to have a journal, a book, just an A5 book, and just put it down. And you write in there thoughts, and feelings, and emotions, and ideas, and poems, and songs you could put in your journal. Just share how Jesus helped you when you're sad or glad. You can make your choice. In everything we do, we must be a wise steward. It's a very important job. And again, let us remind ourselves that a wise steward manages their money or their property that belong to someone else. Wise stewards are hardworking. They are trustworthy. They are good planners. They're faithful. They're honest, and they are blessed. You and I are blessed because we are all wise stewards. Children, thumbs up. I really hope you enjoyed that session. So let's look at what we have done so far. We have looked at describing a wise steward, and we know, I can just share it with you. A wise steward, again, manages money and property that belongs to someone else. Great. We found a text in the Bible that tells us who owns everything. Yeah, it's God. He owns everything. We explained Malachi 3, verse 8 to 10. Don't rob God. Give your honest tithe and offering. And if you have £1, split it in 4. If you have a 100 pounds, split it in 4. Make that percentages. It's there. You will go away and make a poster showing some of the things and send it to Pastor Diane. We have listened to a story of the widow and her small offering, and we call it a mite. It was a small portion of what she had. And we told how and why a wise steward will care for his or her belongings. With that, adventurers, I hope that you have had a great learning opportunity. I'll come out of here and I will see how you have been doing. Well done. Can I have thumbs up?
Thank you.
Excellent, children. I'm so happy that you have enjoyed yourselves
Thank
today.
you, Venice, for this beautiful presentation. We want to say thank you as well. So what I'm going to ask for everybody who is in the, can we just put, I'm going to unmute, but let's give a big clap to Venice, guys. So let's do the clap for everybody. Well done. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.